Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome back to Steelers Almighty. Whew, this is the report card of the Steelers' 33-31 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. People, I'm so disappointed in this football team. More so the defense. Um, I've seen it. I've seen the all 22, which, by the way, is going to come out tomorrow. I know this is a weird week because we played on Thursday, but it'll come out tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in to that. But this was just ugly. It was ugly from a defensive standpoint. And it was a game the Pittsburgh Steelers should have won because I said it all week leading up. Outside of the receivers, the Pittsburgh Steelers are better at every single position than the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers were just better, but they didn't play like it, and that's the only thing that matters, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get started, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in that comment section, and as always, hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. So let's get into this. Quarterback. I thought Aaron Rodgers played a good game. Yes, he had technically he had two interceptions, but the one wasn't his fault. That was a good ball. DK Metcalf, tough catch. He made it. Can't get the ball stripped. I know he got hit. It's football. Football's physical, you know. And also give credit to Cincinnati. That's a good play on their part. But he forced that ball. There was no reason to. Jalen Warren was wide open for a check down. Just take it. It was first down. They had gotten some momentum. First down, just take the check down and move on. Didn't do that. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Having said all of that, other than that, I thought Rodgers played a good football game. I mean, he threw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, let's not lose sight of that. Got the Steelers in and out of good plays. I know there's some talk that he checked out of some run plays, which the Steelers should have run the football more. There's no doubt about that. We'll get into that. But I thought Rodgers was pretty good in this football game, people. I thought he was. I gave him a B overall for the day because you can't excuse the turnover. You just can't. And it was a terrible decision. That's the thing. Not only was it a terrible decision, it was a bad ball. That's the thing. It was just a bad ball, but he knows better. He knows better. So, but B on the day for Aaron Rodgers. So moving on to the running back position. Look, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell. Jalen Warren was incredible in this football game, ladies and gentlemen. Again, catching the ball out of the backfield, running the football. I mean, Jalen Warren on the day, I mean, they couldn't stop him. They just couldn't stop him. I thought he should have got 20 to 25 carries. He only ended up with 16. 16 for 7.9 yards a pop. That's not enough. That's just not enough. I was disappointed that the Steelers didn't give him the ball. And again, I'm a guy that says, hey, Jalen Warren gets worn down. He can't be a 25 to 30 touch a game guy. But the Steelers had it rolling on the ground. 16 carries just wasn't enough in this football game, people. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. But again, him and Gainwell both did a great job. Pass protection, catching the ball out of the backfield. They get an A from me. Because, I mean, what did you see that the backs didn't do? Like, they ran it well. They cut back. They ran to daylight. When the play wasn't there, they went the opposite way. Helped their offensive line in that case. I thought the running backs were phenomenal. And again, in pass protection and catching ball out of the backfield, I mean, they were very, very good. This is an A performance by this running back crew. Moving on to wide receivers. So, look, DK Metcalf, I just mentioned, you got to make that catch. I get it. It's a tough catch, man. I mean, it's a guy, they made a great play, number one, but you can't let the guy strip you like that. You just can't. He had the one catch up the sideline, but for me, I think he was underutilized. 5 targets for a $30 million receiver, and it's not like Cincinnati just said, nope, we're going to double him and take him away. Well, they took him away over the top. There's plenty of times, and I don't know why we've gotten away from this, DK throwing quick slants. There was opportunities for that. Steelers got to do more of that. They got to do it. There's no reason he shouldn't have 9, 10 targets and 7 or 8 catches every single game. But 5 targets is not near enough for a guy that you're paying $30 million to. I don't care what the run game looks like. You got to throw him the football a little bit more. Pat Freiermuth showed up in a big way. Hell, I wanted the man traded and still not going to back off of that. I know this is a big game for him, 5 catches, 111, 2 touchdowns, outstanding performance. Having said that, I mean, you can't take away anything, but in the pecking order as far as what they want to do and what the Steelers are doing, maybe this is something that would highlight a trade for a team. I don't know. Regardless of that, Pat Fryermuth was incredible in this football game. Give the man his credit. He stepped up when they needed him to step up. So good for him, man. Jonnu Smith was fine. Darnell Washington didn't do a ton in the passing game. He caught a touchdown, but he had 3 catches for 2 yards or something like that. So and one of those, he lost 8 yards because Arthur Smith trying to get cute down on the goal line. That was idiotic. I don't know what they were doing there. Having said that, I thought the wide receivers were okay. We saw Roman Wilson. Again, I know it wasn't a ton, 2 for 17, more baby steps, and maybe, just maybe, you should get him more involved. I don't know. Give him a chance. That's all I would say is just give him a chance. And then maybe they're slowly starting to do that with Roman Wilson because when I saw him, he looked fine. So maybe we got to open that possibility up. But I gave their wide receivers a B plus on the day. I thought they were fine. Like I said, Fryermuth was incredible, underutilized. DK, he did have the one big catch. Jonnu Smith was good. So the wide receiver, and they blocked well too. You could see him out there blocking. So the wide receivers did a good job today. Moving on to the offensive line. You all always know I'm an old offensive lineman, so I'm going to be harder on them than I am anybody else. That's just my nature. I apologize. But what I'm not going to apologize for, damn it, is this offensive line play against the Cincinnati Bengals. They were incredible. Look, was it perfect? No, nothing ever is. But those guys blocked their ass off. Yeah, I know people are going to go look to PFF and say, oh, they gave up 9 pressures. Come on, man. Stop. 1 quarterback hit, no sacks. They controlled the line of scrimmage from the start of the game to the end of the game. Period. End of story. Now, I get it that Trey Hendrickson didn't play. I totally understand. And the Bengals don't have a good front 7. They don't. But what do I always tell you? Is just because they don't have something good doesn't mean, oh, we can just take a break and not play well. If you are better than somebody and the Steelers' O-line is much better than the Bengals' front 7, what's their job? Dominate them. That's exactly what they did. I gave the offensive line an A+ on the day. I don't care. I don't care what that front 7 looked like. Your job is to dominate them. They did it. We ran the ball when we wanted to, wherever we wanted to, how we wanted to. We protected Aaron Rodgers. Heck, the biggest hit that we had on the quarterback was Broderick Jones tackling him, on this damn sideline, which Broderick, come on, man. The guy's 41. But he's not getting hit. Why the hell are you hitting him? But either way, I just, the offensive line played great. They played great. I don't think there's anything that you can say about them that doesn't say that this was the number one is the best performance that we've seen probably in 2, maybe 3 years. But I love what they did. Give the guys credit. And then overall, as far as the offense is concerned, look, they scored 31 points. Now, they had 2 turnovers and penalties. I think at least 10 points that we left on the board. But this offense played well. They did enough to win this football game, which is why I gave the offense an A, is because the O-line dominated. The running backs played incredible. The wide receivers were really good, and Rodgers was good. What else are we supposed to do? Again, 31 points. And I know that, yes, they left 10 points out there. And they did. There's no question that they left at least 10 points out there. But 31 points is enough to win a football game, or at least it should be enough to win a football game. I thought the offense was good. I gave them an A on the day. I don't think there's anything that you can say about them that would say, oh, yeah, they didn't have a good day at the office. Yeah, actually they did. They did. They did a good job, man. Give them credit. If we're going to kick them when they're down, then we have to praise them up when they're good. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's a good job by the offense. Whew, okay. Moving along to the defensive side of the ball. Look, the defensive line was pathetic. Let's just start right there. They were absolutely pathetic. They didn't do a good job against the run. Keanu Benton went back to being Keanu Benton. As soon as you give the guy praise, and he did play well for 2 games, now last night was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Wasn't gap sound, got pushed around, didn't necessarily end up on his back, but he wasn't where he was supposed to be, and it caused problems all across the board. Back in linebackers laps again, just running straight ahead. Just a terrible game by him. Also a terrible game by Alex Highsmith. I count the D line, the outside linebackers, because they're rushing. Alex Highsmith couldn't set an edge to save his life. Played undisciplined at the end of the game, and I know, well, nobody expects Flacco to keep the ball until he did. We're trying to hold them. We're trying to stop them so we can get the ball back. And what does he do? Undisciplined football. And I get it. It's Flacco. Who's expecting him to keep it? Well, he did keep it, didn't he? Just do your job. Don't worry about everybody else's. Just do your job. And that's a problem. But he wasn't setting. It was more than that. He wasn't setting the edge. Alex Highsmith, we'll get into it, the coaching aspect of it, but that was a problem as well. TJ Watt got neutralized. I warned you guys about getting so hard on Myles Garrett, talking about Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett's terrible, yada, yada, yada. TJ Watt, same type of game. Same type. Yeah, he got a half sack at the end of the game. I get it. But before that, did you even notice TJ Watt? You didn't. Because, like I said, we did to Myles Garrett what teams have been doing to TJ Watt for the better part of the last 2 years. They have said, you are not going to wreck our football game. We're going to do whatever we can to keep you from wrecking the football game. The Bengals did it. They did it. And TJ, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Cam Hayward wasn't great. Derek Harmon has to play more. Y.A. Black has to play more. Keanu Benton's got to play less. It's just that simple. The D-line got an F. They were terrible against the run. They got no pass rush. I mean, none. They had 21 pressures on and 2 sacks. One of them was at the end of the game, and Benton got one early. So if you go from the first sack from Benton until the last one, what did they do? Nothing. There was no pass rush. Couldn't stop the run. They should be ashamed of themselves against that bad offensive line. They 23 carries for 142 yards, 6.2 yards a carry. Give me a break, D-line. Give me a break. Moving on to the linebackers. Queen, Wilson, Holcomb were all terrible against the run. Now, I will say this in their defense. We lined up in the nickel a lot. We lined up because that was the scheme. That's what the Bengals did. The Bengals said, well, we'll just go 13 or 11 personnel, but we're going to run the ball out of 11 personnel. They did that a lot. Even there were times, though, that even they lined up in 12 and 13 personnel. The Steelers are still in the nickel because versus matching up against personnel groups, the Steelers decided, well, down in distance, it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. This has to be a passing down, and the Bengals ran the football. But that's the coaching aspect. But so I will get into defense of Queen and Holcomb and Wilson because a lot of times they're showing A-gap blitz, and the Bengals are running the football. Well, if they're standing at the line of scrimmage, and I'm not talking about blitzing, I'm just talking about their alignment is right on the line of scrimmage. They're going to get blocked every time by offensive linemen. And that's what was happening. So I don't want to crush everything that they did because part of it was scheme, but they weren't any good. They weren't good against the run. When they weren't doing that, they didn't scrape. A lot of times, D tackle is back in their face, but they didn't scrape across. They get a D for the day. They just were not good, man. They weren't. Not good in coverage. Too many missed tackles. Patrick Queen, I mean, how many times is he going to throw a shoulder in the guy and the guy's just going to keep going? He just won't wrap up. It's starting to become beyond frustrating with him. Peyton Wilson, I don't know, man. And Holcomb, you just can't have Holcomb out there in passing situations. He's just not good at that. But Peyton Wilson, is terrible against the run. So it's like, what do you do? I don't know, man. I'm frustrated, but they weren't good. Linebackers were poor again. And then to the secondary, I mean, this is self-explanatory. I mean, Jamar Chase had set a Bengals record with 16 damn catches in the game. I mean, come on. What I mean, and yes, they should have changed what they were doing. You got to have some coaching help, but we'll get to that. Trust me. But the DBs weren't good. Jalen Ramsey was put in the matrix blender, whatever you want to say, the Twilight Zone, whatever you want to say. Jalen Ramsey was in it, and it didn't look good. And it didn't matter who he was covering, whether it was Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Jalen Ramsey just got cooked. That's what the young kids say. He got cooked against the Bengals. Period. End of story. And if he got cooked, then Darius Slay got baked because he was not any better. And JPJ, not any better. It just, those three guys were terrible in coverage against the Bengals. Now, could they have been helped by a better game plan, better scheme? Absolutely. 100%. However, you're paying Slay and Ramsey a lot of money. They have to be better than that. Just point blank, they have to be better than that. This is an easy grade. It's an F because you weren't able to cover up anybody all game long. Yes, the schematics didn't help you. No, I mean, there's no question about that. But you didn't help yourselves. Did not help yourselves. Is it one game? Yes. Can you be better? Yes. We've seen you be better. And this is the best wide receiver duo in the National Football League. There's no question. Jace is the best receiver. And if you're telling me that there's 15 better wide receivers than T. Higgins in the league, you're lying. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So, yes, they are the best tandem, but you still got to cover them. Still got to cover them. So, I thought it was a poor effort, man. They can be better. They have to be better. I say they can be better. You're going to have to be better because that was pathetic. And then overall for the defense, I mean, what are we going to say? They gave up 33 points to a team that had shown no fight at all. The only fight that the Bengals had shown over the last month was when they got behind by so many points that they just threw it every down, and then the numbers looked decent. But other than that, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't run it. They couldn't pass protect. And against the Steelers, they did all of that. They did all of it. They protected. They ran it when they wanted, how they wanted. They did exactly what they wanted to do all night on offense. I mean, Joe Flacco might as well have been Joe Montana out there. I mean, hit his back foot, got rid of it. Hit his back foot, got rid of it. Constantly slants, constant out routes. No matter what we did, they had a counter for it, and we were on our heels the entire game. The defense gets an F. Clearly, they get an F. They were terrible. And I don't know that I can stress it enough on how bad this is. Because the Bengals, I mean, just from a standpoint of an offensive line, the Bengals were the worst in football. And this is what happened. Should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed. Period. End of story. That was disgusting. Disgusting effort. Moving on to special teams. Look, special teams were fine. Look, Boz is Boz. He's always going to be Boz. And the coverage units were a little bit better. Got a slight little leakage near the end, but the coverage units were good. And as far as kickoff returns, Keyshawn Williams, I think we found a little something here with him. I think with Keyshawn Williams, I think we have found a little something because the return game was good. Return game was good. And when we needed it last night, we got it. So I like what Keyshawn Williams brings. I think he's a keeper. Now the next step is, can he do something for us on the offensive end, versus just the return game? Can he be a factor on the offense? I would think somebody that dynamic, you got to try to find a way for him. But special teams, look, they get an A. They were good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like I said, Boz is Boz. He did his thing. But the coverage units are better, and the return game was real good. I give them credit. Return game was real good. So they obviously get an A. Now to the coaching. Look, I'm going to argue with everybody about this because I know there's going to be people that want to argue with me. That's fine. Arthur Smith called a good game. Again. Again. And anybody, again, they scored 31 points, and it could have been more. Like I said, turnovers, penalties, it could have been 42 points. He called a good game. And yes, I said they should have run the football more. And Aaron Rodgers reportedly, because we don't really know if he checked out of a run play or not. And quite frankly, we don't really need to know, to be honest with you. So we don't know. But if he didn't check out, then yes, Arthur Smith should have called more running plays because the Steelers were dominating the game at the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball. And if anything, they should have run it more so they could keep the defense off the field because the defense couldn't stop them. So at least give them a fighting chance by keeping them fresh, but we didn't do that. You know, I mean, and even when we did, the Steelers were scoring pretty damn quick, so because again, that Bengals defense was awful. They did exactly what they're supposed to do, but Arthur Smith called a good game. The offense was good. So I love what Arthur Smith did against the Bengals. But why I gave the coaching a D minus is because everything that the offense did well, it was completely overshadowed by this Terrell Austin / Mike Tomlin defense. Completely overshadowed. And let me tell you why. Is because there's some people that want to argue and be mad and say that, well, the Steelers didn't give effort. That wasn't the case. The Steelers were giving a ton of effort. They just didn't play well. The players didn't play well. Okay, fine. But you know what? What is a coach's job to do if somebody's not playing well? Number one is to figure out why. And if they can't figure that out, put somebody else in the game. How Nick Herbig gets 29 snaps compared to Alex Highsmith's 51 is coaching malpractice. Period. End of story. I don't want to hear the excuses. Coaching malpractice. How that happens. Pathetic. So that's number one. Number two, how about you make a change? Do something different. Don't just tell me we got to stop the run, but you don't do anything to stop the run. Don't keep telling me that. Yes, we all watch the game. We're watching it. We know you got to stop the run, but you're not doing anything different to stop the run. You're not putting different players in the game that might be able to help you stop the run. You're not doing that. Where are the schematics? Where are the changes? We didn't see any of that. Maybe just double team Jamar Chase. Maybe just do that. Maybe go to a game plan. We're just going to double team him. And if he can just continuously beat the double team, then that's just what's going to have to happen. Because we're not going to let him beat us. They didn't do that. They double teamed him 3 times in that football. Can you believe that? 3 times in that football game. Again, the schematics of the defense was pathetic. Do something different. Clearly your game plan was trash. And so since it was trash, do something different. Try something different. Move in a different direction. The Steelers never did that, and that's why they get a D minus. Because it completely overshadowed the defensive side, everything that the offense did. Because this was a winnable football game. You're telling me an offense gives you 31 points and you can't win? Get out of here. Get out of here. But I don't know. People will defend Mike Tomlin and this defense till the end. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I get the undertones sometimes on why people don't like Tomlin, but that wasn't the case in this game. Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin were terrible. It's okay to say that. I promise you it's okay. Nobody will be mad. Just say he was terrible and move on, people. Got to move on. And then overall, as far as the Steelers, look, I give them a D. I just plain simple. I don't even want to drag it out. 7 penalties, 2 turnovers that cost us. 2 turnovers probably cost it. Not probably. It definitely cost us 10 points, maybe more. Defense could never shut them down. Even early in the game, if we're being honest, when we stopped them early in the game, it was drop passes that stopped the Bengals. It wasn't the Steelers were just played this great defense early. No, the Bengals dropped a few passes on crucial downs, and we were able to get off the field. Well, when they stopped dropping those passes, what did it look like? Look, I mean, Joe Flacco, gee, many Christmas. I don't know. The effort just wasn't good enough. This is a bad game by the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It was just a bad, bad game. So, in conclusion, people, it was a rough one. The only positive, obviously, well, I take that back. There's some positives. The offense played great. The O-line played great. 31 points is great. But you got to play complementary football in the National Football League or you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. Not to mention the Steelers aren't explosive enough to overcome what they have to overcome. Yeah, we were able to do it against the Bengals, but we all know the Bengals defense is trash. It's terrible. So while I say their offense is supposed to dominate them, and they did, we were also supposed to dominate their offensive line. That didn't happen. Got to make some changes, man. Got to make some changes. Got to regroup. Another one of the biggest positives out of this entire football game against the Bengals was only one game. That's the thing. It was only one game. And we get 10 days off till our next game, and we got another opportunity to go back out and win a football game. That is out there. That is out there, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate everybody. As always, man, continue to like, follow, subscribe, get in the comments sections. Tell us what you do and don't like. Always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, aloha.